Okay, so what we've got here, now we're going to stitch the centre back seam all the way along here, okay, and we're going to follow that shape, stopping at that point that we marked. Okay, so I'm just going to pin this. And then we're also going to do just short stitch down from where that second notch is. Okay, maybe just a couple of centimeters down, right? Maybe 4. Okay, so that's what your lining should look like. I've got the cutout side on the top, and then you just want to fold the lining back, and then you should be pressing in along the centre back of that pleat. So if I turn that over to the wrong side now, you can see that it's now facing the one that doesn't have the cutaway. And if I turn it back over again, you can see now it's got that pleat for movement in the centre back. Okay, so now we're going to construct the next thing we're going to do. So put your centre back panels to one side, and then we're going to construct the dart that we have in our side front lining. Okay, so now that we've constructed our dart in our front panel, we're ready to join it to the side panel. So the important thing to note is that the longer side goes towards the back and the shorter length goes towards the front. So take your front panel, okay, and flip it on top like that. There is a little bit of easing. Make sure you match up those waist notches, because there is a little bit of easing that needs to happen. A little bit of easing that needs to happen over above the waistline there, you can see. So now that our side panel is joined to our side front panel, we then want to, putting it up the right direction, so I've got the right sides facing up, I then want to flip that panel on top. Okay, and again you want to be matching that waistline notch. Okay, and we'll just check that there's, might be a little bit there. The back, not so much. Okay, so you probably could sew from any direction. Okay, so you just want to repeat that same process for the other side, and then press all seams open. Okay, so now we want to join our shoulder seams. Okay, so I'm going to take the shoulder and flip it on the top, so I've got my right sides facing together. Now, because our facing forms part of the shoulder line, the front shoulder shouldn't meet the length of the back shoulder. And we also want to leave 1 centimetre seam allowance free at this edge here, so that we can then join it on to the shoulder seam. So you should have between here and here a gap, okay, that would match in length back to your facing. Okay, so you can see how this bit now is free. So then go back to your to the iron and press the seams across the shoulder open. Okay, so now that we've finished constructing the body, we want to be making up the sleeves. So orientate yourself so the longer length and this curve of the undersleeve joins to the back, which is the higher point of the sleeve there. Okay, so just take one and flip. Now, I'd like you to try and work on the wearer's left-hand side first. Okay, so we're going to start by pinning from the top down to the shoulder notch. Now, below our elbow point, in between the wrist and the elbow, we need to leave an opening, probably about 15 centimetres. Yep, 15 centimetres long. So what that means is we're going to stitch from the top down to the elbow and stop. Make sure you do a back tack, okay? And then leave a gap of 15 centimetres and then continue. So starting here and joining down to the bottom. So you can see here I've got this gap. You only need to do this on the left hand sleeve. With the right hand sleeve you can just stitch all the way down. Okay, so once you've done the right hand side you want to press both seams open. So now that we've got the back sleeve constructed, okay, you just want to then flip it over. Okay, so now you can see my seam allowance. So right sides together, and we're just going to sew all the way along the forearm seam, remembering to match at that shoulder knot, elbow notch, okay, and above that point there. Okay, and then we want to press that seam open also. So repeat for the other, the right hand sleeve also. So now that our sleeve is in the round, we're going to do an easing stitch over the sleeve head, and that's going to travel from the back seam, okay, to about 5 centimeters from that front undersleeve seam. Okay, so you want this to be done slightly in from the edge, slightly shy of 1 centimeter. So I've pinned the sleeve into the appropriate armhole, and you might notice on your sleeve there's a notch for the that under point, which corresponds to that on the body. Don't worry if the seams on the undersleeve and the seams on the side panel of the body meet. They don't necessarily have to, so you can see they're sort of off center here. You also want to be matching at the shoulder. So I've pinned on the inside of the sleeve because I'm going to sew with the body against the machine and unpin as I go. Okay, and then we want to press that seam in towards the sleeve. Okay, so this is our completed lining now, okay, obviously inside out. Okay, so that's what it should look like. And we're now ready to put our lining into our jacket, starting with the vent.